I have prepared some like 15 slides. When they have asked me to speak about health, I just thinking, health is such a big subject and it can be on so many levels. And then when Krishna Prema choose the title, I feel great. And then when I went today, just checking a little bit more, I see so many things: guiding principle, achieving optimal health, Tantra, yoga. So there are many, many things in the title itself. So in order to reply somehow to the title that is actually giving us like an aphorism, like a sutra, is giving us the idea that we can have a good health by having certain principles. And now these principles that I want to share, they belong to the Tantra yoga system, but actually it belongs to humanity. It is for everybody. It has come from so many thousands of years of experience. Therefore, I just want to share my experience as a naturopath and as a yoga teacher, meditation teacher. I work in a naturopathic school as a professor in yoga therapy. So my main topic is how to keep people healthy or to cure people with the help of natural remedies. But personally, I'm open for any remedy. But at the same time, I think one of the most important things is prevention. To have certain principles during the lifetime that helps us to keep healthy, not to wait that we are sick, that we have to think to become healthy. We have to think to remain healthy when we are healthy. And that's not so easy. When I work with kids, with children from the mainly primary, secondary, high school, and I'm the director of the Yoga Intuitional Science Academy, Yogis Academy. And we keep ourselves busy with understanding the goal of yoga, meditation, Tantra. At the same time, it is very important to be physically fit, mentally strong, and spiritually elevated. This could be the optimal health. So I'm just going quickly to what I just want to share with you regarding these different aspects. So principle. I understood principle in Italiano, principale, it comes from the Latin, means the first one, like the prince. But the prince is the one who is first administrator. But it comes from principium, means the first, fundamental, the base. So it's like fundamentals about health. And then I went to some, of course, my mother tongue is German, and I'm living in Italy, in the Italian-speaking countries. So English is not my first choice in language. So when I went to see on the Oxford Language website, they say a fundamental truth or proposition that serves as the foundation for a system of belief or behavior or for a chain of reasoning. So you see, principles, everybody feels to have different principles in life. So we are talking here about the principle, the base about how to achieve optimal health, best health, with the help of Tantra Yoga. So first of all, I think we don't believe in this, or let's say we trust more than believe. We trust in these principles because we apply them every day. And when we don't apply them, then after some time, within sometimes few days, you see already that if you don't follow the principle, then you get in trouble. So you lose your optimal, status. if you are in a good flow and you don't follow certain mental hygiene, you just go and watch any movie or play with any aggressive video game, you can see the mind shifts immediately. It loses its optimal state. So this is principle is to have principles is very, very important. Now, later on, we can see from where we can get principles. So the optimal health, optimal means the best health. And of course, everybody wishes to have best health, and not everybody is born with perfect health. And so we have also different opinion what is health. No, mainly the Western country, they don't really analyze what a healthy person is doing during the day. What is his habits, like saying how he breathes in and out, we heard during meditation, how much he's eating, how many times he goes to the toilet. So there are how many times he goes out and takes a walk. We are mainly, health system is mainly concerned with disease. So they are mainly focusing on the disease and not on the health. Very few doctors are focusing on health. They are mainly talking about sick people and diseases. In Ayurveda and in yoga, and not only that, in also naturopathy, we are trying to see how a healthy person looks like, what a healthy person does during the day. So to achieve the optimal health, it's not always easy because the body gets older. So by getting older, the vitality of the body, the vitality of the mind, not always is at the same level. And during the life itself, it goes up and down. It depends on the season, depends on the work we have to do. Sometimes we cannot choose. We have just to do the work, and we get maybe sick because we work too much, but there was no other choice. We had to do that. So we try to keep this optimal health always in our mind, because we know when we are healthy, we are also happy. Normally, there are people who are healthy, but they are not happy. The Romans, they were saying, mens sana in corpore sano. So the mind is healthy in a healthy body. And we depend on this body, but also the mind itself is influencing a lot the body. So whatever we do in our mind, it can affect the mind's health, but also the body's health. So it's a very complex topic, and just to say the optimal, it's very difficult. We can find out during our class here, our presentation, what could be how to say most optimal situation. So we have physical health with the body, then we have psychophysical health. So it's not only the body should be fit, but a relation of our mind is towards the body should also be there. So health is not only something related to our body, but it related also to relationship between mind and body and mind. And then when we talk about health, we have also mental health. This mental health, we know very well, is so important. It affects a lot the body, because from our thoughts, our hormones get secreted. From the hormones, certain acids are being built in the body or secreted. So our mind, definitely with its vibration, is influencing the brain, the nervous system, and at the end is changing the biochemistry of the body. By changing the biochemistry of the body, we can change the pH of the blood, for example. We can change the heartbeat. So we are influencing it whole time. So we have different level of mental health. One is related to instincts, no? Eating, sleeping, reproducing. Okay, this is, we need to have a good mental health also towards our basic instincts. Then to emotional health. there are certain persons who may be physically fit in the beginning, instinctually, but emotionally they're going up and down in their emotions. They're looking for strong emotions, but then they're unbalanced, and this unbalance then creates also a lot of disease, and it's not healthy to have unbalanced emotions. So there is also sentiment. Sentiments are like more emotions that are there for a longer time. So having attachment for something, being fixed on some relation, not only with humans or with animals, but also with matter. So it's like attachments are there, and this is also affecting a lot our health. Obsessions with things, that we need some things, or we need some person in order to be happy and to be healthy. Then we have also a rational. It is also important that mental health, a person who is mentally healthy should be also a person who is using rationality. And we see how many people are not really acting rational. It means there is some unhealthy mind there. This mind is not trained. It's not feeling what is the common sense, what is the proper approach to the things. And we know this creates a lot of decisions that are going to be unhealthy. Irrational people, very sentimental people, very emotional people, they are creating unhealthy situation in their body and around them. So it's like we always have to interact with other people. And then there is another part of mental health, or let's say physical health, little bit difficult to explain today, but it depends on what mental setup we have. And sometimes we forget that our mind is coming from far away. It's not just when you're born, you have certain ideas already in your mind. You have certain patterns in your mind. You have a certain behaviors already. You have certain personality. It can be a healthy personality or unhealthy. We see children, they don't care about their physical health. They eat maybe junk food, whatever. Even if you tell them you should eat healthy, this, but they don't care, because they are attached to some more. It's for them, it's more important the pleasure than the health. Not only children, also adults. You can tell them smoking it's not something healthy, but they feel no, they have to smoke. It gives them some mental pleasure, or it keeps them more, let's say, relaxed or busy with some activity. It makes them feel maybe stronger sometimes. All these things are influenced by a deeper level of mind, and this is also part and cause of certain disease. Or in the opposite, there are children who are very aware about how to live with healthy principles, and they already follow them when they are born. No, they continue to follow them, even if they are surrounded by people who have not good, they don't have a healthy lifestyle. They themselves, they don't feel to follow it. So it means they have a different setup, maybe, but we say they have different samskara. So, for example, there are children who are born already, and when they're born, they don't like to eat meat. They don't feel to eat meat because they don't feel it. And then parents are pushing, but no, they know exactly that it's not healthy. So therefore, they want to keep that information that they have in their mind. They want to keep it practically. And sometimes they have to struggle against family impositions, society impositions. Are you able to follow me? Okay. So just to give you some idea, health is something very complex. It's not only physical, it's not only psychic, it is psychophysical. Fortunately, in spirituality, there is no disease. Physically, we have disease and we have health. Mentally, we have disease and we have health. But spiritually, it's always healthy. So I cannot say on a spiritual level. I think some religious traditions, they say one is spiritually sick, the soul has some disease of the soul. No. There cannot be disease of the soul, because soul is going beyond time and space. So it's in an absolute factor. What is in a relative factor, in a relative situation like matter and mind is changing with time, place, and person. So we have optimal health or not optimal health according to time, place, and person. Okay, we can be the most healthy people, but when we go and live without clothes or proper clothes in Siberia for a few days, our health is gone. So time, place, persons, no? If we stay with people who are very negative, they're criticizing a lot, they're jealous, all these negative attitudes are there for a long time, our mind gets also sick. We start also to get negative. And slowly we are starting not to feel proper digestion. Our nervous system is irritated. So we know very well how our health is really influenced a lot by time, place, and person. So optimal health is something everybody wants to achieve, but it's not easy. But there are some guiding principles that we can go in that direction. And we have to struggle to keep it. There is no guarantee that once you have followed for a few years, then you can live on it. Of course, those who have had a healthy lifestyle for 10 years, they can say, okay, now for 1-2 years, I don't care about my health. I eat any junk food. They can do that but sooner or later they have to start again. Otherwise, they don't feel healthy. They don't feel comfortable. So this is just to say principles are there. Health, the concept of health. Now, Tantra yoga, I think some of you, if you are connected with the planetary leadership training, they know a little about this Tantra and yoga. Yoga is the goal, and Tantra is the path. So we are moving towards the highest goal in yoga, Tantra yoga. The highest goal is to achieve the best health. It is the bliss. If one is in a blissful state, the mind is in a very healthy situation and the body is so relaxed. So when you achieve certain spiritual experience to Tantra yoga, you really don't feel the body and you don't feel the mind. You don't feel it. So you're free from that. And that means you have the best health. At the same time, we cannot expect our body to be here forever. So also those who practice Tantra yoga, sooner or later, they may have some physical problem. I wouldn't say mental problem, but physically, the body, when you are born, 4 cells are born and 1 cell is dying. With the time, 3 cells born and 1 is dying. When you get older, then 2 cells are born and 1 is dying. Then there comes a time that 1 cell dies and 1 is born. Then 2 are dying and 1 is born. And then you see how the body has a different vibration, have a different aura. Of course, it can get older and still keep some shining, some aura. We call it ojas in yoga. But, the teeth are getting a little bit yellow and the hair are getting gray, and the skin is not shining like a baby. That's part, we cannot expect by getting older to getting healthier. In Italy, they say becoming old is already a disease. So getting older is already a disease. It means you get older and then you start to find, I cannot hear properly. I have to wear the glasses. I don't see properly. There are many things. I cannot chew everything. I have to be careful about my teeth. I have to change my teeth. So fortunately, medicine is there, and other items that can help us. But sooner or later, we have to leave this body. And there is another saying, actually, nobody died healthy. Or nobody really died healthy. So if you die, it means something else. Even if the heart is collapsing, somehow you have to leave this planet. Therefore, of course, you can achieve old age, and in Tantra, you can even somehow decide, now it's my last day, that's my last presentation. Thank you very much. I have been here on this planet so many thousands of days. I have really enjoyed. I'm not attached to this body. Bye-bye, namaskar. These yogis can achieve this. They can be the controller of disease and also of death also. But we have to follow the rules of nature. It's not that we are immortal. So, in order to achieve yoga, this experience, this blissful experience, we need all-round health. It's very difficult to achieve a mystical experience if you are not physically fit and mentally strong. Why? Because the mind is running towards different objects. If one is healthy, really healthy, you don't feel your body. This is typical of children. Children, they are so healthy, most of them, they don't feel their body. When you're really in a healthy situation, you don't feel your body. And if you don't feel your body, then you are more aware about your existence. And if your mind is not worried with so much anxieties and problems and paranoias and fear and tensions, then if you don't feel your mind so much, then you're really close to yoga. So when we want to achieve yoga, we have to do some exercises to achieve physical and mental health. So it's like the passenger in the car. The car is the body, the driver is the mind, and there is a passenger inside the car. Our soul is the passenger. The mind is the driver, and the car is the body. So the car can be perfect, but if the driver is crazy, the passenger is observing, no? What this driver the hell is doing with this new car, no? Sometimes the driver is okay, but the car is completely rotting. You don't take care about the filter, the gasoline, the tires. So you can be the best driver, but if you don't take care about your car, how far can you drive? So the passenger cannot go far. Even the driver is okay, very smart, very good, but the car is broken. It's an old car, losing its part on the way. So we have to really think, if the passenger wants to be happy, the car must be properly tuned, and the driver must be healthy. Maybe the driver must be also not healthy, must be happy to drive. So yogis wanted the bliss. So when you have bliss, you have everything. Even if your body is sick and around you everybody is criticizing you and creating you problem, a person in bliss doesn't care if the body is sick. It doesn't care if everybody is against, because you have the bliss inside. And it happened to the great personalities when they give new life principles, new ways of changing society. They were blissful personalities, but they maybe have been put in the jail. They have been tortured, but they were still blissful because they feel, I'm not my body, I'm not my mind. But that level you get only when you achieve high spiritually experience. Then who cares if the body is sick or the mind is not stable? Important is that the passenger is still there. So this is some thoughts about health. Now we need to get to some principles that help us to be healthy. And these principles, we know, these principles we get already when we are young. They tell us to do exercise, to eat properly, do so many things, to behave properly. So when we think about health, we need to think about having a lifestyle based on some principles, something that we know it works since many hundreds, maybe thousands of years. We know that good food keeps you healthy. Everybody knows that. So everybody knows exercise is very important. So I will just give you some hints. But before I go into that detail, I want just to give you some information where you get the source of this base of these principles. Because principle can vary from person to person, from culture to culture, or not. I'm coming from the North Italy. And in North Italy, there is a lot everywhere here is around is apple and grapes to make wine. So wine is here like water, no? The wine costs less than the water almost. So when you're young, what they tell us, they tell you when you go with the man to the bar to drink something, if you order water or lemon water, whatever, they look at you. Are you sick? No, they say if you drink wine, it makes your good blood. Because also wine is red, blood is red. So when you drink wine, you make more blood. So principles depends, no? Some people say you have to eat this type of food, but you know, everybody knows certain food is very dangerous for health. For example, if one is eating a lot of meat, the human body is not able to remove all the toxins that are in the meat. So if one is eating from time to time, there will be not so much problem. If one is working physically a lot, he will sweat and he will throw out a lot of poison. But still, we know Eskimo, they eat a lot of meat and fish because there is no sprouts in the ice. No, you don't get tofu in Siberia, doesn't grow out. So you have to, they drink the blood directly from the animals. When they take dinner, they cut the throat of any, like a deer, and then they drink the warm blood. This is the dinner, you know. What you will do? -30, I would do the same. What to do? But we know they don't live more than 40, 45 years because the toxins in the blood will poison slowly this body. It will not happen from one day to the other. It will take years. But sooner or later it will come. So I follow the principle of one important philosopher. It is called Maharishi Kapila. He lived 2000 before Christ. And he says there are 3 sources to understand principles or the truth. One is through observation. It means you observe with your eyes, with your ears, you hear, you try empirically understand what is going on with your senses. But you know, senses can be sometimes not very precise. They can be also how you say, like fata morgana. You think it is, but it is not. You know, there is like illusion, optical illusions can be there. So our senses are not so extremely smart to get the whole range of vibration. Of course, we use machines to get a broader range, but also machines cannot do everything. So this is one important aspect. The other one is through inference. We get the source, the principles through analysis, synthesis. This is intellectual. Intellectual means to use the cause and effect. And so we may understand what is healthy, what is not healthy. Okay, if I see a person, for example, he tells me, oh, I got this white powder from one friend. If you sniff it, you feel really very strong, no? You can do many things. So you take some cocaine, it's good. You know, cocaine has been taken also from the Pope. The Pope, I don't remember his name. The Pope in the 1920, cocaine was something like, you know, you can get it. Nobody knew that it was such a heavy drug. And also poets, they were taking it, also heroin. They're thinking, yeah, I take this, I feel good. So if one sees the person after a few years who is taking cocaine or heroin, you don't need to take it to understand that it's not good. You just watch the person. You just infer. You just analyze. And you will see this is not healthy at all. So human beings can get the source of truth through intellectual understanding. And another one, the last one, is through intuition, through authority. There are certain genius who have understood things through their intuitional knowledge. And they are able to give you hints how to be healthy, how to achieve optimal health, physically, mentally, how to get that health through their intuition. So the best is when you have to understand the principle, a guiding principle for optimal health, you best use all three of these sources, not just one. Okay? Because maybe there are some authorities, they have said many nice things, and then they say something wrong. But certain people think, oh, because he's the highest authority, he's the guru, he's the healer, whatever, he's in contact with God, whatever. So when he tells this is good for health, I should follow. But if you think it may be not good, or empirically you see people are using this approach, they are not healthy, they're getting not healthier. So some people get cheated by authorities or so-called authorities, thinking that they have the source of truth about certain remedies. But I always say to the persons, please adopt all three of the sources of knowledge. So go to research, observe. Maybe if something is not so dangerous, you can try it, you can see the difference. But if it's dangerous, you can just see. I don't need to take cocaine to understand that it is not healthy. Okay, or you have to use crack. Crack, I understood, if you take 2-3 times crack, you get addicted. So why you have to try? I just see the effect of others. So that is important. When one is giving you some guiding principles of optimal health, you have really to analyze if it is rational. There are now also in modern times that people are giving, you think that's a remedy, it can cure whatever. We have seen also with COVID, certain people have given so crazy things, no? That or you have a problem, no, you can just ignore, you just do some mantras, maybe, no, mantras can help, of course, in certain things, but they cannot help in every situation. No. If I have a car accident and my arm is bleeding, maybe I will lose my blood. And then they say, no, you just do pranayama on the point of, you have to understand time, place, and person, and observe properly, infer properly, and get the proper guidance. All three things should be together. That's my approach. Okay. So normally when we do things with empirically, we have always to trial and error, right? We try and then we see, oh, this doesn't work, or it works. So in that way, different systems of health has come out. And then comes science through intellectual inferring and analyzing a lot of good things science has come up. And but of course, it cannot be completely what scientists say. Sometimes they may say in their materialistic point of view. And there are some dogmatic scientists also. I give you just an example. A friend of mine was studying medicine in a university, and the professor of nutrition, he stood up and said, if you eat vegetarian, you will die after a few years, you will die because it doesn't nurture your body properly. My friend, who is also a little bit fat, he stood up and said to the professor, Professor, I must reply you, that's not true. I'm vegetarian since more than 10 years. And I don't have any problem. And what the professor says, he said, it's not possible. So the professor says to the person who knows that 10 years eating healthy, that it's not possible. This is arrogance, the arrogance of scientists sometimes. They are not open for confrontation because they're coming from a certain materialistic principles, okay? Or if you talk about fasting, fasting is one of the best way of keeping healthy. But it can be dangerous for people who have metabolic disease, like anorexia, bulimia, women who are pregnant. So it's not good for everybody who has low blood pressure. They should take fruits. So it's something you have to adjust. But fasting is one of the best system of keeping healthy. And now doctors in Germany, they have made a fasting clinic and they are analyzing. When you do fasting, the liver is creating certain proteins who kills the cancer cells. And there is a certain point in the middle of the brain, when you do fasting, you can control the thirst. And if you can control thirst and hunger in that place, you get some certain types of spiritual experience. So we have within the scientific world also not all are agreeing on the same thing. Therefore, one has to be moving quite carefully in this. One has really to find somebody who is open for multipathy, not only one system of health, no, or one way of curing. Sometimes naturopathy cannot work. Sometimes homeopathy cannot work. Sometimes allopathy cannot work, or Ayurveda. So we have to choose that system that works perfect for that type of moment in life or for that person. And certain information about health or comes from a deeper level of mind, who understands the principle of the universe. For example, I don't know if you have heard about one doctor. He was an important person here in 500 years ago in Europe, Paracelsus. Paracelsus was like a very intuitional. He understood from the form of a plant for what it is good, for what type of health. For example, carrots. Carrots are good for eyes. When you cut it, it's like an iris, right? Or blueberry. How do you say blueberry? They look like an eye. If you take blueberry, it's good for the eye. Or like nut. They look like the brain. It's good for the brain. Almonds, they're like ovaries. They're good for ovaries. They're mineralizing the female body. Okay? So there are also nature is giving you sometimes some hints for what it can be good for health. So with intuition, one is understanding also a different way of keeping oneself healthy. So we should follow people who have knowledge of deeper level of mind, but it should be in harmony and understandable intellectually, and also it should work. It should really work. It's not like you have to believe You have to see some concrete steps towards health if one has lost the health. So now, what is a lifestyle that makes us healthy? It's like how you wake up in the morning, what you do during the day, what you do before dinner, what you do at the night, how you sleep, on which side you sleep. All these principles should be there. And because we have to do this, waking up every day, sleeping every night, right? So we should know what is proper, what is not proper. For example, in the morning, one of the best principles for health, in the morning, you should free your intestine. You should remove all the waste in your body. So that of course, urination is there, but defecation before breakfast should be there. You should take a shower to take away all the poison on the skin, all the dead cells. If you do lukewarm water and then cold water at the end, the nervous system becomes really tonic and strong. And then your body gets more heated up when you close up your shower with cold water. But if your body is very cold, if you're tired or exhausted, you should not take cold shower. You should maybe take hot shower and end with cold. The cold should be very short. That makes some really nice effect on the vital energy in the body, because the nervous system, when it feels that the body is getting colder, it has to move the heat out in the skin. How? By using the blood. So this is called thermic reaction. It is typically if you take sauna, you stay in the hot, right? In the sauna. How you say steam bath? We say sauna here in Europe. Steam bath, right? So when you get heated up, then the skin becomes so warm. Then you can even jump into icy water for a few seconds. And when you come out, wow, then you really relax, because the nervous system is feeling, oh, the body is freezing. Now I put my own energy in the skin. So in that way, you keep your skin always healthy. But if you take warm shower every day, warm shower, the skin is not used to react. So slowly you use your vitality. And also if you take warm shower, the pores are opening. That's a good part. And you maybe rub the skin that the dead cells are falling down. But then if you don't close it with cold water, the warm will go out. And then you have cold. Therefore, for example, during evening, after 9 o'clock, you should not take shower, not cold nor warm. Only in exceptional case. Then you take only warm. Maybe you are dirty, sweating, whatever happened. You take a nice warm shower and you go immediately into bed and sleep with the warm. But during the best time for shower is before lunch. So we have to understand the body during the day has different different times, periods that you should follow. In the morning, whatever you do in the morning, the beginning, the first thought, the first action, it remains in your mind. So it's very important what you do in the morning. I tell to the kids when I teach them, you should watch nice things. No, a nice flower, a smile. You should sing something nice. Always get in touch with some beauty. The beauty should be there in the morning. Not criticizing, oh, what a day, look at this lousy weather, and now I have to go to the work and see my boss. And you are starting already creating acidity in your body. You are already lowering your pH of the blood, and you are getting slowly sick. So guiding principles should be there already in the morning. And then I could speak for hours about this, but I cannot go too much in detail. What we eat in the morning, how much we eat, and when we eat. To eat too late, it's not good. In Italian, everybody likes to eat late. If you go to Napoli, Bari, they take dinner at 10 o'clock in the night. Of course, then they have all these problems with ulcers in the esophagus. No, they don't sleep properly because all the acids are going in the brain. So what we eat? Should we eat heavy food in the morning? Some people, they need. Some other people, they like to have light breakfast. Depends on your constitution. So one should not follow blindly. For example, my wife, maybe she's here, she's listening to me. When she takes breakfast, because she has a very good metabolism, when she takes breakfast, what she takes breakfast, for me, it would be good for 2 days. But her metabolism is very, very fast. So it's like this oat and nuts and so many seeds. If I eat half of that plate, I would like collapse on the floor. But she wakes up very early in the morning. She does her practices, so she has really an appetite. And after 2 hours, she feels a little bit hungry. So she takes something some tiffy with her. In the morning, I like to take light food. I take fruits, yogurt. I drink a lot, thinking I can take sometimes oat or granola. I like, but I can't take so much. But at lunch, I'm like a lion. At lunch, I can eat like an elephant. So, because I'm a lion, a Leo, and at midday, I am like, I'm burning. And what is the proper sign of having a proper appetite? There are 3 signs. You must have water in your mouth. Right nostril should be open. You feel like the right nostril is really wow. And the air should come up from the stomach, like, it should come up like this. If you have these 3 signs of appetite, you can eat stones. But if you don't have these signs, whatever you eat, it will not digest. And what you don't digest will fermentate. And the acid that are built in the stomach, that are secreted from the stomach, chlorine acid, will also not be neutralized by the food. So that acid will start to destroy your wall of the stomach. And then you get gastritis and all these things. So you need to be hungry when you eat. So when you if you feel to eat something and you feel the right nostril is open, you should drink maybe milk, whatever milk you like, coconut milk, this milk, that. But I'm not here to say what milk you have to drink. Or you take some nice juice, fruit juice, but don't eat something. Don't eat bread. But if the right nostril is open, you should not drink. You should eat something substantially. You will digest very, very fast. Okay. So how much to eat? You should always leave some space in the stomach for some air, because when you eat, you need solid, some liquid, a little bit, and you need some oxygen, some air, because that will mix with the enzymes, and that will start to do oxygenation and fermentation. So this is very important. It is the rule of the washing machine. When I speak with kids, I cannot talk about these things. But I tell them, do you know the rule of washing machine? You have to apply it to your stomach in order to be healthy. What is the rule? I was not often using the washing machine. I always was lucky somebody else was washing for me and ironing for me. But it came a time I had to do myself. And I said, in order to save time and water, I just pushed the whole washing machine was completely full. No? Of course, when I took out the clothes, they were still dirty. Because I have to leave some space, because when it goes down, it squeezes. So also when we digest, we need some air in the stomach. To fill up the stomach is the worst thing you can do. We say you should stand up from the table with some little bit of appetite. This is a guiding principle for healthy. Okay. But nutrition is not only eating, it's also how we are breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Are we doing some pause? Are we relaxing during the day? No? Are we washing our nose regularly? Otherwise the dust and the viruses and the bacteria, they go down. So how we keep our machine healthy, how we keep our machine clean, the filter of the nose. Yeah, these are also very important things. It's a secret of long life. Hippocrates, he was a doctor of Greece. He said that food should be your medicine and medicine should be your food. And for this, not everybody is the same. We cannot apply to everybody complete same remedies or food. Okay. There are some mistakes one is doing, for example, during evening, eating too cold things or food that is cooling down is also not good, like banana, yogurt. If it is very, very hot, okay, now it's very hot summers, then it's okay. But if you take yogurt, banana, fruits at night, the body's tired, you have to heat up all this food, and you don't produce so much heat in the night. In the morning and during the day, you produce more heat. So you may catch cold, you may catch some flu when you eat this type of food in the night, even vegetarians. So exercise. Exercise is very important. What type of exercise? I think I went to one back. Let me see. Yeah, what type of exercise? So we can do any type of exercise. Mild exercise is also good. It goes more internally. Sometimes there are exercises that can be also dangerous for health. Therefore, you should ask an expert. As a yoga teacher, I can tell you there are so many exercises for the stomach, intestine, internal organs that really can keep your body very, very healthy for a long time. And yogis are famous for living a long life. There are some yogis who have reached 140 years, 160 years. Trilanga Swami, I have known him. He lived, I heard, 208 years. But movement definitely keeps all the body into life, because life is movement. But also too much movement is also not good. How to use the water? When to use the water? Water is a medicine. Internally, you should drink a lot, especially in the morning, so that the body gets its poison out as soon as possible. In the morning, it's very important to drink a lot. Before you take breakfast, try to drink at least 3 pots of water, cups of water. I drink almost 1 liter before I take my breakfast. And then at my breakfast mainly is fruits. There are now this fashion of doing this fasting of 16 hours, not to eat only within the span of 8 hours. And the other 16, you just relax your intestine, but not, you can try that. But it depends on your work. But in that time, you also need to drink. So how much to drink? You should not drink too many glasses at one time. You should take 1 glass every half an hour, not half liter at one time. It is making your stomach full, and the heart has to work harder to remove that one. So another thing is how to remain healthy with some good herbs, using spices, herbs during your meal, during the day. That is also very important for health. Everybody knows that certain food, certain spices are very, very healthy for health. For example, ginger. Now, ginger is very healthy in the wintertime, but if you take too much ginger, your body will dry out. Asafoetida, it smells like onion and garlic. It's very good against fermentation of the intestine. Maybe, for example, garlic and onion may be good for the body, but not for the mind. So maybe that's a good remedy, healthy remedy for the body, but it is not a good remedy for the mind. So you have to understand also certain herbal remedies may be good for body, may be good for the mind, but maybe not good for the mind or for the body. It's a whole chapter. So what mental activities you're doing, that's also how you use your mind, with which people you are together. This is influencing your hormonal secretion. and that is affecting the tension in your body. If you are quarreling, if you are struggling, if one is abusing you, whatever, it is creating so much tension, and this tension is a poison for the body. If it is happening every day for weeks and months, we know how people having psychic trauma, they are somatizing it. You say, I think, somatizing in English. In Italiano, somatizzare. The body is absorbing it, no? Spiritual practice, they are very, very important for health because they bring somehow a very peaceful moment for mind and body. It gives really like a rest. It's like relaunching it, no? If like the computer doesn't work, you relaunch it, you close down, and then again you make it run. So spiritual practice is a guiding principle for long life and healthy life. So just very quickly, we have 7 tissues that actually in our body is building our body with our food, and that is first becomes child, blood, flesh, fat, bones. So the minerals gets in and then becomes marrow. And at the end, this is very important principle for healthy life. Shukra. Shukra is something only in yoga we talk about. Only in Tantra yoga we have this. This is the cream of the cream. It's like the honey of the pollen. It's like the gold in the stone. It's like the butter in the milk. It's the cream of the cream. It's the highest potential biochemical product in the body. And you get it after 28 days. So it's like production after 28 days. It has 3 stages. The first stage is like lymph. It's called pranarasa. Second is semen, sperma and ova. And then like seminal liquid, like spermatic fluid and menstruation. Okay. So now we focus mainly on number 1. Later we talk about a little bit about sexual energy. So when we talk about pranarasa, it is a very important part of the lymph in our body, and part of this becomes the mind. Part of what we eat, what we breathe, what we produce in this body, it gets sublimized, it gets raffinated in something higher. And this is called ectoplasm, mental stuff. So our mind is the result of the friction of innumerable nervous cells. And within that, this fluid that is going to the nervous cells, it gets powdered down and it creates our mind. So our mind becomes stronger if we have more of this lymph in quantity and in quality. I made one presentation about this with Amaya, Anandamarga, universal yoga teachers. So our mind is the result of the body. Mother milk is a result of this super lymph. Whatever nurtures the nerves is very important. It repairs the body. New cells, new cells, stem cells, are also very important for the health. So more we produce stem cells, more our body is healthy. Our immune system, that depends on the stem cells, because stem cells can become nervous cells, blood cells, immune system cells, whatever. Our semen, our menstruation, is part of this production of the body. And we know very well when people have problem with health, for example, female or male who are not having healthy body, like anorexia, they are not having menstruation. They are sterile. Also males, they don't produce semen because the body says, I have to preserve you. What to talk about reproduction? Better a person who has this problem doesn't reproduce. You have to survive. And what about talking about this tissue that you need to reproduce yourself? Just keep alive. So we have many things that is coming out from this super lymph hormones. You see if one is having a lot of this pranarasa. You get it a lot with vegetarian food, green leaves, proper air, proper pressure of the glands. When you do yoga exercise, you move this lymph in the body in different glands. You produce certain hormones that control your behavior. Hormones are also curing people. When you go a little bit in research, most of the medicine for women from 15 to 60, 70 something are hormones. Many of these medicines are hormonal. So if you can produce your own hormones, I mean, you have all the things, you just need to push the proper button to pressurize that. That's our yoga asanas or meditation on certain plexi, on certain places of the body that are connected to the glands, to the hormones. So our mind depends on our biochemistry, our body depends, our glands, our hormones. These are some very important guiding principles, how to keep yourself healthy, and or not only healthy, you should live as long as possible healthy. Mental health is a complete, I mean, I don't think I need to tell you. So now almost 1/3 of population has mental problems. And it will increase because if the mind is not trained, it's not stable, it has not a proper environment, it has no values, it has not a goal. Mind is like it's like how to say, it's like a flag. It goes with the wind, flickering here and there. You can see how you can manipulate the mind of a person, can be physically most strongest person, and then can be brainwashed, you know, with propaganda, with fear. So there are some principles. I will just give you some. Applied biopsychology. So what you do every day, what you eat, how exercise you do, what you meditate. This is the whole subject. I cannot go into this. So it's like the base about nervous system, hormonal system that is keeping your balanced mind and healthy body. Sexual energy. There are two things that keeps you healthy. If you have to reduce it to few principles, is your food, nutrition, and your sexual energy. So sexual energy doesn't mean that you should not have sex. Too much sex is also creating instability in the health of the body. Suppressing sex is also creating disease. Okay, so sexuality, to have a healthy sexual life can be also celibacy. That's also possible. The only thing you have to deal with it. We have in yoga, we have many exercises how to help the person to control the sexual energy. Because if you control sexual energy, you have a lot of health. If you suppress sexual energy, you get sick. If you exaggerate with sexual energy, you get also sick. All the instinct. If you eat too much, you get sick. If you don't eat, you get sick. If you have too much sex, you may also get sick. If you suppress sex, you get sick. If you sleep less, you get sick. If you sleep too much, you get sick. You see our mental balance with our instinct. So that's a whole chapter that I've written a book. My thesis in naturopathy was on Shukra and all these things regarding the energy, the vital energy of our body. So what we think and what we do, if it is good, it creates good environment in our cells. At the end, it depends on our cells. If we eat good, drink good, but we have to think also good. We create our own vibration internally. If you criticize a person who is not present, if you hate a person who is not present, the person doesn't know that you're thinking that. But your nervous system is losing its balance. Your body gets tensed with these ideas. So it's not healthy to have this type of thinking. Which company you are together? With who are For example, many people now they're compelled almost to eat alone. You should not eat alone. You should eat in company. You should have a good company. If it's a bad company, better to eat alone. But or you get a dog, you get a parrot, you get a cat, whatever, a fish, whatever. Or you make a video call with some friends and they can eat together. Now everything is possible. It's important when you eat, when you go in the nature, in any moment, it's important and to come together. That's medicine. In Germany, 1/6 of the population is suffering on this of feeling loneliness, and that's not depressing. More and more people, they get sick because they feel alone without hope, because the company is not there. And then certain ideas, when you're alone, you just make them bigger and bigger and bigger. Obsessions are starting. And then whoever comes in your neighborhood, you will shut them down. No, I hear so many crimes now of people who may be normal people, but they, because of watching movies that are aggressive, video games, not having any positive company, they every day a little, and then one day they do the things. And then when you ask them why, they have not done any prevention for keeping their mind healthy, clean. They have never done any service. Therefore, it's very important to do service activities, to stay, to help other people. You get compassion, you get good feelings, you feel yourself also having some value in this life. If you don't have any hope, then you start to kill yourself maybe before you kill some other. And that's the unhealthy society we have around. So what you do with your mind, you keep it clean, like your body, like your car. I know people, they have the car is so clean, the car, but in the body they eat any junk food. So that's important to have these principles of thinking positive, helping others. It is just health. This is health. Okay, my watch was already keeping me saying now you have to stop, but now that's my last let's say input. Of course, there would be so many, but now I'm more here for you. If you have any question, or if you can ask how we can apply certain principles to certain eventually problems, or what's my favorite prevention. If in a family we have a certain problems genetically, now what we do, for example, my father was suffering of rheumatism. So what I do, I will also get rheumatism. I will get rheumatism. Sooner or later I will get. But not maybe at 70, 80, like my father got it when he was 55. I am 60 now, I don't have it because I try to eat alkaline food, do my fasting, do my exercise. My father was having a healthy lifestyle, but when he started to get gout, when they get all these toxins here, then he had so much pain, he was not able to play tennis. Then fortunately, Dada Ranjitananda, I think you know him, Dada Ranjitananda, he's the acharya of my father. My father is no more here. So he was then fasting. He stopped to eat the meat, speck, speck here in South Tyrol, speck is like, all this wine. They were eating a lot, but this is slowly poisoning the body, not in one day, not in 1 week, not in 1 month, but slowly, definitely. So when he stopped, he was much better. He could work properly. And so when we know certain constitution we have, or a certain genetic pattern in the family, we have to think before. I'm iridologist. My study was naturopathy and looking in the iris and seeing from the color of the iris, from the rings in the iris, from the sign in the iris, what type of problem can come out. I told to my mother that she could, if she doesn't stop to eat so much carbohydrate and sweets, she will get diabetes in 20 years. And when I told her when she was 40. She didn't listen so much. With 65, she got diabetes. Now, in Europe, only in Germany, there are 8 million people having diabetes. This is typically a problem of people who have not a healthy lifestyle, who think, oh, it's no problem. It's like those who smoke, no, it doesn't make anything. But slowly, the pancreas, with so much sugar, not exercise, it will come. It's just a question of time. Then somebody has maybe a constitution that is giving problem of rheumatism, the other one gets the problem of diabetes, the other of mental dementia, whatever. So please feel free to ask some questions.
You can also use the chat if you guys need to, or you can open your mic.
I can see the chat from here.
I have a question about fasting. So one thing I know that Dada Vijayananda had talked about was, not eating between meals. But then, like to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and not to eat in between meals. But is there, like you said, your wife is hungry 2 hours after breakfast. So is there an exception then?
It depends on the metabolism.
Okay.
I don't need to eat between, if I don't eat much and hardly I eat. If I have, maybe I take one apple. So it depends. If you want to eat something between, you eat fruits, no problem. I would give that suggestion. If you feel hungry, you see, if you feel hungry, as I told before, you feel. So if you don't eat, you may have some problem later on. Gastritis is coming also when you don't eat when you're hungry.
Mm-hmm. And then about fasting. So you said there is certain people. So like for my situation, like I have, like you were talking about, the low blood pressure, and then I also have low blood platelet and low white blood count. And so I try to do fasting, but I find it to be, I don't know if it's healthy, like if it's in that situation. Is there any, but you said instead maybe try doing it with like fruit or something.
There is one book that I use a lot. It's Yogic Treatment and Natural Remedies.
Yes.
Of selfcare. Okay.
I have that, yes.
Telling very clearly, low blood pressure, you should not fast, dry fast. You should eat fruits. Personally, when I fast, I don't take fruits, but I take some lemon water with honey, that for example, or I take a very mild green tea, okay, in the morning, just that my blood pressure doesn't go down. Otherwise I get headache.
Mm-hmm.
I get headache even in the night when I sleep. So, I mean, our discipline, our principles should help us to be healthy, not to torture us.
Okay.